Hello students, welcome to the second session of your mains RRS essay, which is there. In the last session, I had given you a clear idea about what UPSC seeks from us, what we are giving to UPSC at this point, and what we are expected to give UPSC at this point so that we get really good scores in the essay paper. Now we move on to the very crucial idea that I keep telling students that you should have dimensions, but a lot of students feel like, okay, how can I have these dimensions, or how do I gain these dimensions? It doesn't come overnight. We will have to be trained to it. So let's see how to do it. I've put something over here. This is a very common example that we see when we are kids also. When someone asks us, they'll fill a glass of water and then maybe the glass of water is filled half. They'll ask like, okay, is the glass half full or half empty? Now, some of us say the glass is half full. Some of us say the glass is half empty. Some of us say the glass is full. It is full because even if the glass is having half of water, the top half of it is air, the glass is still full. So we have different perspectives, right? So I use this, or I'm telling you this, to get an understanding as to what the same glass of water can be seen in these different lights. For example, some of us feel at this point, okay, this is just a glass of water. There is nothing more. Let's not think deep into it. It's nothing more. You don't talk about it as half full or half empty. It's just a glass of water. Some people think, okay, yeah, this glass is, as I mentioned to you, it is full because the 50% of it is water and the rest 50% of it is air. And that also makes the glass full. Not full of water, but still fully filled. So that is some perspective that another person has. A third person might say that the top is half empty and the bottom is half full. So instead of saying the glass, they've defined the top of the glass and the bottom of the glass. And they're trying to say it with respect. So if I am a person looking from the top, I have a different idea. If I'm a person looking from the bottom, I have a different idea. Some people say that, okay, here, if this is clearly this part of this thing. So some people might say, no. See, think about it like this. Who are we to say what is top and bottom? What if the glass considers this as the bottom and this as the top? In that case, where is the water? It's in a different place. Then finally coming into this perspective, and then some people ask, is it actually water in it? Is it something else? They'll be quite skeptical about it. And finally, some people say, we should not even be talking about glass or water or air or anything. There are bigger problems in the world to be seen. So think about it, that same glass of water, when put forward, now these are different perspectives given by different people, right? You've different people coming in together, thinking about it. And for example, I've written, some of them would be realists, some of them would be utopists, some of them would be physical scientists, some of them would be relativists, some of them would be nihilists. Now, it's based on what thought you have that you express this. Now, think about essay as that one area where the same glass of water is given to you, and you have to put yourself into all of these perspectives. You alone will have to see this different dimensions which are there. Got it? So the glass half full, if it has 6 different dimensions by 6 different people, when a UPSC essay topic is given to you, you will have to bring 6 or 7 dimensions about it. But you will have to do the thought process. Got it? So now let me ask you, okay, we've established the fact that we have to do the thought process. So it's going to be a scene where we have to do this. And this is where another term becomes important to us, brainstorming. So if we have to do a thought process, it's always better if we are like writing it down, drawing this and creating a mess of ourselves. But still, what happens is whatever is there in our mind is put out there onto paper. So this is where when we start brainstorming, the first things that happen in your brainstorming should ideally be is trying to see the different dimensions of the topic. Because beyond, if that is not there, it becomes quite difficult for us to convince the examiner that we are having all these thoughts in our head. So then comes the next point as to how do we gain these dimensions. Now again, understand, I have written some terms over here. That is just me naming these terms. It's not like, for example, like relativity and all. It's not like a general theory that is there. Based on seeing several essay papers over the last few years is where I have just concluded that these are common things that we can improve on the dimensions part. So how do we gain dimensions? I know a lot of you are gaining dimensions when, for example, I put in some topics over here. Let's just have that. There is this topic, life is a long journey between human being and being humane. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Forests are the best case studies for economic excellence. History is a series of victories won by the scientific man over the romantic man. A smile is the chosen vehicle for all ambiguities. The real is rational and the rational is real. Wisdom finds truth. The past is a permanent dimension of human consciousness and values. I've chosen these topics. These are mostly what your abstract topics are. It's come from the time span of 2014 to 2022. Very recently, if you look at 2022, that is the last paper that is there. So this is the time span in which I've chosen these topics. Now let's just take one of the, and these are considered to be really difficult topics also. Let's take the topic which is simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Okay, this topic. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. First thing you have to understand is, and that is something that you all would do also, you would know what are the keywords in this. Simplicity is a keyword. Ultimate is a keyword. Sophistication is a keyword. What is sophisticated? Is sophisticated meaning complicated? No. Sophisticated means it's quite fine, it's quite refined, it's quite fine-tuned, it's classy. These are all the different kinds of things. Ultimate means what? The end. And simplicity means what? So now let's take this topic and let's see what all I'm going to speak about. See, now ideally when this topic is given, if you had to write, what would you go about? You would go about and maybe think, okay, yeah, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So then I'll talk a little bit about simplicity. And then I'll go into my fixed pattern, which is, I will just prove points because I'm not going to say anything more. I'm saying, yes, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. And then I'll say like, see, socially, if there is some scheme that is there, which is very simple and easy to understand, and it's quite easy to convey to the people in this manner, that is the one that becomes the extreme successful scheme that is there, right? Like, look at any scheme that has been successful in the past few years. Take, for example, the Swachh Bharat mission, which is there. Swachh Bharat mission, the primary idea that is there is, okay, you have certain things. Or even better is your LPG mission, which is there. The LPG mission is quite clear in its objective. How to go about it, everything is clear. The Aadhaar is also like that, wherein you have an Aadhaar, you have to go to this place, you will get your biometrics done, and then you have a data. Perfect. You have the key to all your social government or social and government schemes right now. That is both a very complex thing that could be done, but still because of how easy it is, it becomes good to us. So what happens is students will normally now say, okay, socially this, economically GST. GST is again a concept that is there. GST, they will talk about it. They say, how about this, how they have unified all of it. Or they might even speak about maybe the one nation, one ration card thing. So what happens right now is what? You are seeing the topic in different dimensions. And you're trying to tell them also that, okay, yeah, in all of these things are good because of a reason. But understand the fact that this social, political, economical, psychological, ethical, legal, technology or science, all of these things are something that everybody is going to be brainstorming in this. Maybe the examples will vary, but the explanation of these things are not going to be much varied. So that is your conventional method. Now, I'll just give you few tools as to the lots that you can sit and brainstorm, but then I'll just give you a few tools that can be used if you want to have a variety of dimensions. First approach is you question the question. If simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, you start questioning it. You ask each word, you take up each word. Let's write that topic down over here. Simplicity. There's the next word, ultimate. And there's a next word, sophistication. You question each thing. What exactly is simplicity? Where is it seen? Why is it called ultimate? Or is it in the first place itself ultimate? Why is simplicity called as a sophisticated thing? Are there things which are simple but not sophisticated? And if there are such things, what is the problem for it? And on the other hand also, are there things which are sophisticated but not simple? And then what is the problem of it? Which means now my entire essay, instead of just randomly jutting in different dimensions, the entire essay will try to have a thought process associated, because I am going on questioning it, and once all my questions are solved, I just have to arrange it into something that the examiner feels. Now, after I explore each word, then I can go about with the topic. I can say like, why is this, or why is it called as the ultimate sophistication? Because it's quite difficult to create simple systems. There's a very popular quote that says it. If you cannot, or if you do not know something, you cannot, or if, for example, if you have to express an idea which is there, I want to teach you quantum computing. It's a difficult concept. It is quite a difficult concept, right? Now, that is a very difficult concept. I can teach that to you in the ultimate difficulty that it requires, or I can understand that entire thing and make it into such simple words that even a common man can understand. Like a 5-year-old can understand. Now, which do you think will require more effort? Obviously, both of it require you to know quantum computing, but more effort is needed when you have to understand that, break it down and convey it in such simple words which are there. And this is the point. To do that requires skill, requires knowledge, requires some amount of aptitude related to it. So simplicity is the ultimate sophistication on one angle, because simplicity not only deals with the idea of making things simple, but also in the process gaining a lot of skills that help you make things simple. Got it? So now look at that. It was a very normal topic. I am now thinking about it into a dimension which is quite relatable to each one of us, because we would all have had that one teacher in our school who just came to the class and just confused us with some concept that could have been very easily explained to us. So keep this point, and then what you can do is you can take that entire turn. So that becomes very relatable, and you can use that as an example also. So what has happened over here? I have taken that topic and I have just kept on questioning the topic. Now, do you think that'll come in one day where I can just be like, okay, fine, bring it on, I'll start questioning? No. If you plan to use this, you have to write 2 essays. You cannot do the same social, political, economical thing for both the essays. Even for one essay, if you want to explore a little bit more, then what you have to do is, you have to train yourself. All you have to do is take up essay topics which are there. Try to figure out what questions you can extract from it. And not just questions. See, once you put out a question, then you have to find answers to it also, which is where you will have to brainstorm. You will have to think. But that is the first step that you have to start doing. So that becomes important. Then as we go further, as if you've questioned the question, that is one kind of an approach. The next kind of approach is something called as your motivation theory approach. Okay. So if in the topic, we have, in the case of simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, I can either go about with these questioning things, or I can go about with something called as the motivation theory approach. See, motivation theory is basically that theory which is there. If you are a student of PABAD or PSIR, you would have seen it. We have several theories called as motivation theory, which basically says that man has several needs which are there. The needs are arranged into a certain hierarchical order based on which, like for example, our basic needs are food, shelter, etc. Once those needs are satisfied, we are motivated to achieve more needs, which could be maybe your stability, then after that upon psychological well-being, so on and so forth, to the ultimate need, which is your, what you say, getting ultimate enlightenment or having complete actualization, self-actualization. So these are several things which motivate someone to keep going forward. This is the motivation theory. Now, whenever you get a topic, you can think of that topic as to that angle, not as to how it motivates us, as to how, for example, I'll just give you a brief about how this different things are. Like for example, there is something called as your basic needs which are there. You have your basic needs which are there first. Now in your basic needs is where we'll have your physiological needs. After your basic needs, you have something called as your safety needs, which is your personal security, your employment, your resources, etc. Then you have love and belonging. Love and belonging needs, which includes your friendship, family, etc. Then you have your esteem needs. Esteem needs are basically the ones that are, for example, your respect, status, etc. And finally, you have self-actualization. Self-actualization is the desire to become the most of what one can be. These are your different needs which are there. Now, when I'm giving a topic, it can be any abstract topic which is there. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. I don't use all the questions. I just question why. Okay. Why is simplicity the ultimate sophistication? And I try to see if simplicity in any way satisfies any of these needs which are there. For example, what is the role of simplicity in your normal food, water, shelter, etc.? Okay. What is the role of simplicity in giving you safety? What is the role of simplicity in giving you love and belonging and friendship and family? What is the role of simplicity in maintaining a certain status, in maintaining a certain respect, esteem, etc.? What is the role of simplicity in your self-actualization? Now, I'll give you an example. When you have simplicity, for example, take love and relationships which are there. If you have simplicity, what is going to happen is you are not going to, and these are all abstract concepts you have to understand. I would not be overthinking about issues, right? I will not be overthinking. I'll see a fact for a fact. I'll see it in the simple terms that it could be seen, which means I would be able to forgive. I would be able to accept and tolerate different people because I have those simplistic needs which are there. And you have to understand, in this time and age, tolerance and acceptance are one of the most beautiful virtues that someone can have, because we are, as it is, turning into a very intolerant, very restless group that is there. So now think about it. So if someone is able to achieve simplicity in their values, they will not be having these other thoughts which try to not let them be tolerant or not let them be accepting of other things which are there. So simplicity actually helps me to have that love and relationships and family and friendship and everything. And therefore, that is the ultimate sophistication. Got it? In this manner, now I have talked about myself. I can talk about an individual and all the values from the individual's perspective, the needs from the individual's perspective. The same thing, look at it. Whatever needs an individual has is basically all the needs that even a country also has. A country initially needs to satisfy its basic necessities for its people. Then it has to go to safety and love and esteem and self-actualization, where you hear that, okay, a country is developed, a country is the leader when it comes to that. Why? Because it has become the best at what it can be. So now, instead of just talking about simplicity from the individual perspective, talk about simplicity from the nation's perspective also. And when you talk about simplicity from the nation's perspective, you can say about how a nation which is having, for example, let's take a very simple thing. A nation which keeps this need as its priority will be doing what? For example, they want to give food and shelter and basic necessities, food, shelter, good water to its people. Look at all the things that we've done. We have a public distribution system. We have a pension system. We have something that is utterly simple when it comes to your water and everything. But at the same time, you would have a very, let's keep in the case of food and your, basic things, we have simple systems. But look at water. Water becomes a difficult thing because our system over there is extremely complex. We are not able to make sense if river water leaking can be done. How to ensure groundwater which is there. Why has that happened? Because a simple government system would be, okay, there is a policy, there is a person who's reporting into, there's a field officer, someone takes a call on it. Now, for that same thing, what if you have 3-4 different agencies out there? Has the system become complex? Yes. If the system has become complex, is it serving its purpose? No. Which means what? The more simpler you are, the more successful you are. The more successful you are, the more sophisticated you are. So here, just like we can have the different needs of the, from an individual's perspective, you can see the needs from the nation's perspective also. And using that, you can see the different gains. So I want you guys to do something, because those who are watching this video, and I'll be looking through the comments also that comes underneath this video. So I want you guys to do one thing. I want you to pick up any one topic of yours from this. Okay. I have chosen this. I would ideally say choose any one topic from this list which is difficult, and I want you to brainstorm, not in your paper or anything, in a very simple manner, using this motivation theory, using the different needs. How can you break it down into simpler things? How many dimensions you can gain in this manner, and put it in the comments. I want to see, I will be looking out for your responses, because I'm very interested to see as to how students can think from different dimensions when a certain thing is thrown at them. So those who are writing names specifically, please come and try and do this activity which is there, so that, we can, once we go into the next dimensions, and I am training you, so you will be on a better board here. So for now, we've discussed majorly 2 approaches. The question approach and the motivation theory approach. My personal favorite is obviously the motivation theory approach, because it gives you a lot of scope to write. I like the question approach because what happens is, in a lot of cases, when you have for example, forests are the best case studies of economic excellence. You can gain so many points if you question the question. There maybe your motivation theory would not work well. But to understand which theory would work well is a choice that you will have to make as a student. Anyway, the topics I have put over here, there are topics that your motivation theory think could work. I want you to try it out and let me know in the comments as to how you have fared well. Until we meet next time, take care and happy learning.